Here we are dancing. That made me think about the post I made earlier this week. And after I tell you about this, then we'll introduce ourselves. I was packing my townhouse that I just moved out of, and I found on YouTube you can stream Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour from 1990. Yes. And I posted like a good Gen Xer. While I'm packing, I put on Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour and Vogue the house down.
Vogue the house down.
I'm going to Vogue the house down. Yes. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Jonathan. Don't mind me. I'm just sharing the rant in all of my groups.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the rant, where we come together every Friday to have some radically affirmative new thoughts.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Think some good things.
Think some good things.
Yeah, yes. Chat about it. I know that people are enjoying this. I'm getting lots of great feedback. How about you?
I am too. People love it. They love it.
Yeah. Love it. I love it.
Grateful. So I'm Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I'm the senior minister at Unity of Tucson. I think we should also introduce ourselves, right?
That sounds good.
Yes. I'm going to move. So I'm going to move you over.
Yeah. There. You want me to be on the left?
Yeah. I want you to be on my left so that my eye line lines up properly. It's all the little details for me.
All the little things. I know.
And who are you?
We're doing some great things. Hi, I'm Reverend Steph St. Amand. I'm the spiritual director with One Love Awakening. We are a heart-centered and inspired community working towards some spiritual magnificence and understanding ourselves in a path, an actual path, a journey to radical self-love and unconditional acceptance. Yeah. That's what we do.
So are you feeling the flow?
Feeling the flow.
Are you feeling the flow? It's different, right? I talked about this last week. The flow is different. Like the energy of, like, I feel like the global energy is different.
There's something has shifted there in the last week or so. There's a different flow. Everything, like I've been experiencing like a pinch in the flow, and even that is like manageable and loosening and getting back into it. So there's definitely something.
There's a song from a musical. Actually, the revival of the musical just closed on Broadway. It's a musical called Merrily We Roll Along. And one of the songs, actually, I sang this song with a group of people at my university graduation in 1907 and 1997. But the lyrics of the song are, actually, I'll just sing it for you because
sounds great. Yep.
Something is stirring, shifting ground. It's just begun. Edges are blurring all around, and yesterday is done. That song has been so prevalent in my mind this past week because I really do feel like we've entered into a different, like I said last week, I think we've entered into an alternative timeline that feels very positive focused for me.
Yes. Yep. There's a change a-coming.
A change is a-coming, yes.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful to just be reflective on the flow, to know that there is an infinite flow, a divine source and substance that is always flowing. There's nothing and no thing that can block its flow. That's right. We resist it and we think there's barricades and blocks in our lives, but beloved, we're putting those stones down ourselves.
I was gonna say, I became a master of blocking that flow for periods of my life.
Oh,
I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Right.
But in retrospect, I can see that's what I was doing.
Right. And like Maya Angelou reminded us that, when we know better, we do better.
Yeah.
And so if there's something going on in your life that is restricting that flow, just trust that when you know better, it's gonna remove itself.
So now I have to laugh. So now I have to laugh because we're talking about the restriction of the flow.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I, we bought a condo. It's our second property. We're going to rent out our townhouse that we've been living in for the last 6 years. But we bought a condo. We moved into our condo last night. And speaking of restricting the flow, even though everything was like hunky dory and all of our inspections went great, we moved in yesterday and there is no running water. So we literally have no flow.
No flow. And your air conditioning.
Our air conditioning was out too.
So there is no flow.
Yeah. Gratefully, the air conditioning has been addressed. It's back on. It's running. It's nice and cool in our new condo. Yes. But yeah, we still have no running water. We reached out to the HOA because they manage the water for the property.
Yes.
But then there's an interesting thing. How frequently do we allow our flow to be managed by outside, by what's outside of us? Like our water is managed by the HOA. Is that a reflection of somehow me allowing my flow to be dictated by things outside of myself?
Ooh, diggable right there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got some folks watching. Let's have everybody ponder that thought.
Yeah.
And he says, "Good morning, Rangers. Good morning, beloved."
Good morning, Andy.
Yeah, I just saw the Power Rangers doing their.
I don't even remember that.
I don't remember.
Power Rangers are a little cusp for me. Like I was a little too old for Power Rangers slightly.
Yep.
But I still kind of was into it.
Kids, I was babysitting or nannying. I was a nanny for a little bit back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was for them for sure. William's here.
Hey,
beautiful
William.
Morning to all you lovely peeps. Hi, William.
Grateful
Good to see you. And here's my beloved wife off today. Happy rant day, everyone.
Nice to see you, Tammy.
Yeah. I like to always put Tammy on the spot. So, next Friday, you're welcome to come rant with us.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody let Tammy know you want to have a rant with her.
Yeah.
Audrey, good morning to rant. Good morning. Oh, and just more popping up every.
More blessings.
Morning blessings. Hi, Jerry. Okay, Andy, I get it. Typo.
But you know what? I like Rangers too.
Yeah. New Thought Rangers.
New Thought Rangers.
Yeah. I love it. I love it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're watching, we so appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Go ahead if you're on Facebook to hit that share button and share with all of your timelines, because I know the world needs a little rant every now and then.
And even if it doesn't need a little rant, I think we should expose the world to the rant.
Expose the world to the rant.
Yes.
Let's do that. Yes, absolutely. So I think that's a really deep thought that you were just pondering there. Like we do as a society, we depend on other people to manage things, and we make agreements with each other, and so keeping those agreements is being in integrity with the flow. All of that good stuff.
Yeah, well, I have a whole thing around the idea of our interaction with one another, because, I think sometimes we have like the idea of like dependence gets a bad rap in this way. Many people take it the step too far, and it moves into codependence, where you cannot survive without, the codependent relationships that you may have in your life. But I don't think full independence is the right answer either. So I always say that it is my desire to express and experience interdependence, where we are fully, uniquely expressing, and we are also fully interactive with each other and supporting each other. That's the world I seek to create.
Yes. Yeah. And Star Trek says that we can make it happen because that's 300 years from now and they're doing just fine.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you and I are both Star Trek fans, right? And I mean, when the original series came out, I was not on this plane of action that I'm aware of yet, at least not in this incarnation.
Right.
But I think sometimes about looking back on it, it's like we kind of take it for granted, but how radical that show was for its time.
Yes. Gene Roddenberry had a mission.
It was a radical, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. That was Gene Roddenberry's mission, right?
Yep. And right here in this plane of existence, because he made sure we're totally ranting on something different now. He made sure that like this was in the 60s, right? Like the late 60s. And so there was an African-American woman and an Asian American man on the cast. There was Chekhov. I was not sure what.
So Chekhov, Russian in the context of the show,
right?
But the actor is not Russian,
right?
I used to actually. What was his name? What was the actor's name? I can't even think of his name. He used to go to the Starbucks right next to my previous spiritual center in North Hollywood. He would have coffee over there pretty much every day. So I'd go in and order my Starbucks beverage. This is not a plug for Starbucks, by the way. And there he would be. What was his name? Why can't I think? I used to know all the cast members' names.
Yeah, we could ask Google.
Yeah.
But it was so important to him and to the integrity of the show that, a woman was given the opportunity to give orders and be in charge of things and without hesitation. And that's just, it's how many years ago was that? Like 60, 70 years ago. I'm horrible at math, but a long time. It's been a minute since Star Trek has been going on. And in our reality, we're still fighting for people to have rights, women to have autonomy over their own bodies. And it was something that was so important to the writers. He would not deter from that direction. And he fought hard to make sure that the cast was diverse and powerful.
Yeah. Because
we know, we're both members of the LGBTQ community, right?
We are.
Representation is important. And when we see representation, it's so important.
Right. But I want to go back to the original thought around that too, because what that brings up for me is, yes, representation is important, but do not ever take it for granted, because I think what I've also seen happen in the span of the time from when I came out till now, LGBTQIA representation has increased exponentially across media. And now younger generations take it for granted as though this is like just the way it's always been. Yeah. But it was not so. I did not see myself represented in growing up. And so actually I did. And let me tell you about that for just a moment. But I didn't see positive representations of my community. What I saw was the butt of jokes. I saw that my destiny was to die a horrible death from a disease.
Yep.
That's what the representation was when I was coming of age for the gay male community, right?
Yeah.
And so do not ever take for granted the representation, and don't ever let representation slip away.
Yep. Yeah. It was in my adulthood in this lifetime that Canada allowed same-sex marriages. Like it's not our freedom.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah.
Hold on. Say hi to Katie. Good, beautiful morning to Katie. Grateful, and yes, live long and prosper. Yes, indeed. But this is my favorite quote, or my favorite comment now.
Yep. Yeah. You just outed Jonathan. Sorry about that.
Walter Koenig. That's right. Thank you, Anita. She remembered.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Anita. Yes.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, what's coming? What I want to know is what's happening for you out there. Do you have any thoughts or questions, or like, what does this spark for you? You can throw some stuff up into the comments that we're happy to respond to as well.
Yeah, we love
Funny
your
how
questions.
this took a turn. We were talking about the flow, and then we're talking about, representation matters.
Representation matters. We're talking about flow. Yeah. Well, we can rant on anything. So
I know what it is because we were talking about this too. So, in the representation of the lack of flow in my new condo, and what that might potentially mean, that also brings to mind life is a mirror and reflects back to the thinker what the thinker puts into it, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening there?
What's happening there? Yeah, what's happening there? Yeah, why am I pinched? Like we think, like, as a radical affirmative new thinker, like I'm always looking to discover the root of whatever it is. If there's something physical in my body, I want to know what it's about, because there is a conscious metaphysical interpretation. And so whatever road to wholeness is right for everyone, for each of us, that's the road we should take. For me, I sit in contemplation. I am a deep thinker. I will think that pinch out of me. Mm-hmm. It might be from, finding the root cause and then calling a chiropractor, but it's going to be, but I want to know if there's a message in it for me. What's that message, right? And so the mere reflection, it is how we can engage where our work is still being done.
Yes. And so number one, the chiropractor, if anyone asks us about, care from medical professionals or anything outside the self, if we think that those things are somehow not the expression of the divine, then I don't think we really live this philosophy. So it's all like, I always say it's all God.
It's all God.
God is in the pill. I'm okay with that.
Ernest Holmes said a prayer or a pill.
Yeah. So there's that. Plus, and I don't want to use the but. The value of looking for the root is only as valuable as the way that it invites you into a different conscious awareness.
Yes.
Because I am of the mind, and this may be the radical thought today, I am of the mind that we do not need to identify the original cause.
Yeah.
Our work is to impress a new cause.
Yes.
And those things are two independent things. The original cause. So identifying the original cause is only as valuable as it is to you to be able to then create a new cause.
Yeah.
But is it possible?
Plan out the stepping stones.
Right. But is it possible to create new cause without knowing what the root cause is? I will always hold firm in my resolve. The answer to that question is yes.
Absolutely. And I, as an absolutist, I believe that, you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing to heal. It's simply a reflection of something that's going on in this time and in this space. But there is a power and a presence, an intelligent mind at work, conspiring for our greatest good, always. And we get to direct that.
Yes.
So we can absolutely change our mind. That's our biggest freedom. We can change our mind. When I say I contemplate and I like, that's me. I like, I'm a gardener in the mind. I like being in that. Here's the thing. Don't set up camp. Don't set up camp in that stuff, right? It's like you walk through the valley of the shadow. You don't set up a camp. You walk through it. And so I just don't think of this body as something that is against you. This body is not against you.
Yeah.
This body is here so that your holy self can be expressed.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't set up camp if you're
Yeah.
in the pain. Find what works for you and move through it.
Right. Right. And I think, the New Thought philosophy, and this happens, I think, very specifically to people who are students of this philosophy early on. Oftentimes we say, oh, there's a root cause to everything. And so the focus becomes what I'm going to call the witch hunt. Right. And like I say, if you get stuck in the witch hunt, you can devolve yourself, because also what that does is it keeps that root cause active in mind, and it keeps expressing itself. So if you find yourself lost in trying to find the root cause without actually then taking the step into creating new cause, just something to look at. Just something to look at, because there may be a path to healing that is going to be more productive.
Yeah. And, where are you at in your awakening journey? Right? If you're a beginner, you're going to have different practices than someone who's been doing this for 20 years. And so, making sure that you're really listening to that still small voice and hearing what is for you and how you do this, how you do this work. Right. I've got 20 years under my belt almost. And I'm, so yeah.
Well, and it's also, building up what I'm going to use the phrase mental, it's building up the mental muscle, that it's like going to the gym. The more you practice is like lifting weights, like the stronger you're going to become. And then, I think did we talk about bench pressing last week?
We talk about it almost every week.
The thing is, we repeat ourselves all the time, because the joke of ministry is that we are saying the same thing. We're just trying to find 52 new ways to say it every single year, right?
Yeah.
But it's like working. It's a workout, and
it is.
When you build up the resilience, then you are working less hard at it. It just becomes a part of your strength.
Yeah. Like something that would take me 3 years to get over 20 years ago now takes me 3 minutes.
Right.
So the practice gets you to shorter rebound times, or, that kind of thing.
And I think one of the things that you develop as well is what is your, I'm going to use this phrase, what is your knee-jerk response in any given situation? I used to let my response to the circumstances of my life take over, and I would get upset, and I would be so mad. That could last for days. I could let something derail me for days. But now my response ability is very different. I may still have a quick jolt of but then I go, you know what?
Yeah.
I know who I am in this. I trust and know that the divine is at play in this. It is working itself out in my life, and I welcome the magnificence wholeheartedly in the expression that I am allowing to unfold.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, because we're human beings, right? And we have we have this subconscious awareness that we are free. And that's why when we're binding ourselves or feeling bound, we have a reaction. That's why, because we were born free, and now we're like, So I get some messages now and then, and it's like my first response is, "You're not the boss of me." And then I'm like, said that. Nobody's the boss, except for my puppy who's sleeping over there. She is bossy, and I do whatever she tells me to do.
Well, that's true. I mean, we are very much run by our fur babies.
Her fur babies, yes. And so as you were talking, the first episode of Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, always comes to mind when we have this kind of conversation, because in the first episode, there's these entities that are just all-knowing, but very naive, I guess, so that they don't know this human experience. They don't know what it means to be a human. And they're trying to understand Commander Sisko. And they just keep replaying like this horrible moment that he has lived in his life. And he's like, why do you keep showing me this? And they say, we're not showing this. You like, this is where you're living. This is where you are all the time.
Yeah.
And that's it's a brilliant way of saying, you know, if we're replaying an old wound, then we are physically reliving that moment. The only way the past lives is in us remembering it. And so it's just this, we don't have to live in that experience, because every day is a brand new day. Every day we have an opportunity for something new, something different, something wonderful. One of my leadership council members, Peg, she said a couple of years ago, and I've just carried this with me. Instead of saying, what's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Because if we live from that place, if we live from that, that curiosity and wonderment of what's around us, then the divine will the divine shows up in our reflection as that.
Yeah.
Always being curious.
Yeah. You know, that is a great, you know, it's one of the ways that I have worked to retrain my own mind to not automatically go to what is the worst case scenario, or this is one that I'm always inviting people to consider, to let go of the notion of can't in your life. You know, it's super easy to say, oh, I can't do that. Right. Like in any given situation, I can't do that. Right.
Yeah.
I always say, maybe you can't, but what is possible? What can you do to like start to retrain your mind to not settle into the I can't, and say, okay, what can I do? What is possible here? Yeah. And see how that transforms the experience of life. It's transformed my experience of life. I do not live in the realm of can't anymore.
Well, even like shifting your thoughts, like this past week, I don't have time for that. And I hear God in my own voice, and it's a little louder than I am. And I heard this voice that says, no, Steph, you're not making time for that, because there's always time. There's always enough. We're the ones that pinch. We're the ones that put the boulders in the way. We're the ones.
Yep. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who put this rock here? Oh, it was me. Yeah.
Oh, if only it wasn't us who were doing those things to ourselves. If only we could just blame something outside ourselves.
Something outside. Poke and point and point. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, you know what? That was 30 minutes.
it never ceases to amaze me.
I know, right?
It just goes.
We've got Beatrice. Hello, Beatrice. Wishing a great day. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
And to you. Thank you.
So glad you're here with us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh my goodness. Look at all the people watching today.
I love it.
Love it.
Yes.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you want to hit that thumbs up and let us know that you've been watching, and what channel you've been watching on, because we are streaming on 8 different platforms right now, which is
2
so
platforms, great. 8 channels.
8 channels. We've got 8 channels all over the place. Yeah. And so let us know what you want to rant about next week.
Yes. Which, by the way. So Steph and I had a chat this morning, and we were talking about the fact that we are both taking a hiatus from our other weekly videos that we do, right? You do Wake Up, Say Thank You, and I do the Mindful Moment. And in August, we're going to take some time off from those daily videos. And so we were talking about it today. I thought, well, maybe we should take a few weeks off in August as well. So I'm traveling in August. I'm headed, actually, I'm going to be not too far away from you. I'm headed up to Thunder Bay, Ontario on August 6th. And will not be returning back to Tucson until the end of August. I fly back. I think we fly back the 23rd of August. So there's 3 Fridays that I'm going to be away, and I don't know what my connectivity was going to be. So I said, well, maybe we should take those 3 weeks off. And Steph said, yeah, let's do that. So all of that to say, we will be ranting next week, which is already August. Next Friday is August 2nd. So we will be here next Friday. But then please mark your calendars, because we will not be back on the rant until the 30th of August, Friday, the 30th of August. And I love that we're international.
Yes. Love it. Yes.
Yes. More international than just Canada and the United States. There you are.
Oh, absolutely.
Canada, United States. Yeah.
I know One Love. We hang out with folks from Norway and Korea, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I love technology. It lets us be connected all over the world, and recognize that we're only one.
Yes, indeed.
We're just one thing. Love it. Love it. Okay, beloveds. So for next week, your homework is to let Jonathan and I know. Our emails are right here for you. Let Jonathan and I know what you want to rant about, what you want a radical affirmative new thought about, and we will rant away.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, there's your homework. So that's it.
Amazing.
Love and blessings and peace to each and every one of you. Thanks so much for being with us and listening to us rant. What a joy it is to be with you.
And as I always say, don't forget, you are magnificent. And it's not because of anything you do. It is truly just who you are. So keep shining your light.
Yes, absolutely. Peace.
Peace out.